Hey guys, it is Shelby Gibson, aka Savage Girl, back with a vid. So, today we're gonna get into some pretty deep topics. So viewer discretion is advised. Yeah. Here we go. First of all, I have struggled with suicidal thoughts, cutting, anxiety, PTSD, and I'm still getting help for that. And sometimes it's hard to not relapse, not to try to kill yourself, not to think about bad things that has happened to you. And at points, it feels like it could be so much that you have to go somewhere to get help, which I have done so many times. And every day it's just another battle. Every day it's a struggle to understand why people bully me, like why people do this, why people do that, when that's pretty much, as people will say, in your head. Like, people will tease you and bully you because they don't know what's going on with your life, and they might have something going on in their life, like they just don't have any perspective on it. I guess I should pretty much tell my attempts story. So, it all started, I was 11, like turning 12 that exact day when I started cutting. And I wore a jacket to school, and then I would continuously keep on doing it because I felt really insecure. And it sort of went on, and I've been, like, it sort of just went on from that, like, to almost 2 years now, and I guess, like, it just got worse and worse, up and down my arm. Then 7th grade comes around, and then I start feeling suicidal again. I start trying to kill myself, cutting more than frequent, because I feel like at moments that just helped when it really honestly did it for me. People have always said you're doing what you're doing for attention, and I guess that people really want to look at it like that because sometimes it's hard to face the truth that there's a society out there that makes people feel that bad that they have to hurt themselves or starve themselves, like, that bad. But people don't really understand that, so they just say, oh, you're faking being depressed. And I've been told that multiple times by multiple people, even people who supposed to be supportive. I remember a lot at my school in 6th grade was saying was doing it for attention, and then the next year, hey, look, you know that, like, I'm in a psych hospital now, thanks. And then they're like diagnosing me with major depressive disorder, and then just this past year, PTSD. And it's really hard for people to look on that saying, like, oh, that's bull crap, that we are all just doing it, when there's facts, I guess, like proof, especially from certified psychiatrists and mental health workers, showing that. Because while I was in the psych hospital, we would fill out a goal sheet every day, our long-term goal and our short-term goal. My long-term goal was not to feel suicidal anymore, and my short-term goal was at least try to be happy for a day. And it took me a long time trying to figure that out. I was in and out of treatment, and then this past few months, people have threatened to send me to residential. which is like a 2 to 3 month program to watch your behavioral. And I promised my therapist that if I worked with him outside, that if I show symptoms and get better at things, he would not consider that as an option for me. And so I guess it's just what that is that I had a friend who went to residential, and I talked to her about it. She was like telling me everything at the residential, and I love her so much for filling me on that, because I don't know. Then this, like 2 months ago, I was secretly suffering with, like, 2 months ago, right? Yeah, secretly suffering with anorexia. I didn't really open up to anybody about it because they would probably just make that on this like a thing she's struggling with more, because I'm very self-conscious about my weight, and people don't really understand that when they swipe up on my Snapchat and say like, oh, you're fat, or things like that, and they also don't realize that, like, them saying that they want to be my friend and then being like JK JK really hurts people's feelings, because you don't know at that point in time if they need a real best friend. Like, that was one thing that kept on going through my snaps, were like, oh yeah, we'll be your friend, and they're just like JK, and then I always would say like, don't be like signing up on things saying that you'll be my friend and then say JK, because I'm really in the need of a friend. But like, of course, my thing doesn't really matter. So, I mean, it really hurts, I guess, like, and I'm still on the road to recovery. I have group and therapy every Wednesday, and that's supposed to be helping, and usually every other Thursday I have a family therapy, which is okay, I guess. Sometimes I don't really want to be there because I'm scared what my mom's gonna say, because sometimes, I don't know, it's just really hard. Um, and sometimes I hate when I'm having to reach out to crisis line, because I remember like a few weeks ago my mom got angry at me because I was still reaching out to crisis, but then we all made an understanding that if I'm not comfortable going to my mom, that I have a right to go to crisis, like things like that. And but like, I've always sort of learned that, I don't know, that like people who have, because I know people who have faked being depressed just for attention before, because they would admit it to me, be like, oh yeah, I was faking being depressed for attention. I usually get like really mad at that, because, and like people saying that they got raped and really didn't, or people, like, let's say someone just touches them, just like a little slight poke or shoulder scrub, and them screaming rape. Like, have they ever been through that? I remember I was quote unquote, stepping up to these girls, and I like almost like slapped one, but barely. I barely touched her hand, and she's like, rape, and I'm like, don't be saying that if you haven't been, like, if you haven't gone through that. And one of the other girls are like, you probably haven't. I'm like, really? Like, that was probably one of my hugest like PTSDs, is people, like, I was sexually assaulted, and one of my hugest things that trigger me is people grabbing my wrist for multiple reasons. Like, first of all, I don't like people grabbing onto my wrist because of what a guy did to me. And I don't like people grabbing onto especially my left forearm, because there's scars and of cuts there. I'm just gonna say this right now that if you're going through anything, you're not alone. There's so many resources out there. There's so many things. There's so many people who are going through the same thing as you. Even if it's just a tiny little bit difference. Like, at moments I feel like I'm the only one battling depression, the only one battling anxiety and things like that, but I know I'm not. There's so many other people, and that people are grateful that you're alive, even though if you might get little arguments, especially with your siblings. Like, trust me, I know that. Like, um, getting in arguments with your siblings and making it feel like they don't really care. They do. Like, they've cared so much that they've will get in arguments with you just to show how much they love you. So, yeah. But if you do need any resources, I will put some down in the comments. I love you all very much. Everyone say you, and I will see you in the next one.